It's very practical. The last sutta 1.81 in the first Samyutta, the first chapter. Who here in the world are blessed or peaceful? Whose mode of life is not squandered? Who here fully understands desire? Who enjoys perpetual freedom? Whom do parents and brothers worship when he stands firmly established? Who is the one of humble birth that even Katyas or nobles here salute? And the Buddha replied, ascetics are blessed in the world. The ascetic life is not squandered. Ascetics fully understand desire. They enjoy perpetual freedom. Parents and brothers worship an ascetic when he stands firmly established. Though an ascetic be of humble birth, even Katyas or warriors, the warrior, the noble clan, here salute him. And that's the end of the sutta. So here the Buddha said, ascetics or renunciants are peaceful people in the world. And the holy life, if one leads the holy life, then he's not squandered his life, he has not wasted his life. Actually, that is the best way to lead our life, practicing the holy path. Then we put our life is the best use. Instead of chasing after all the material things in the world that are impermanent, that we cannot bring along with us in the next rebirth. Whereas if we practice the holy life, then all the benefits that we get from it, we can bring along to our next rebirth. Ascetics fully understand desire. They enjoy perpetual freedom. So if a person practices a holy life, he understands that desire, craving is dangerous. So he tries to be free from desire. And then parents and brothers worship an ascetic when he stands firmly established. Here is quite interesting. If a family has a son that goes forth, and then that son becomes a holy person, then the parents and the brothers also pay respect to him, worship him. This is very unlike the Mahayana, there's one sutta about filial piety, where it starts off by saying the Buddha was wandering in the forest with his monks, and then he came across a skeleton, and then the Buddha bowed down to that skeleton, and Ananda asked him, people in the world bow to you, Bhagawa, why do you bow to this skeleton? Then according to that sutra, the Buddha said, oh Ananda, you have shallow wisdom, you don't understand. This skeleton could have been my mother or my father in the past life. So that kind of teaching is totally incompatible with the earliest teachings of the Buddha, like here. Like the Buddha, after the Buddha has become enlightened, his parents worship him, pay respect to him. He does not go and worship his parents. So a person is worthy of respect when he is virtuous, not because of blood or something like that. So I think for tonight I stop here as far as the suttas are concerned, because I only prepared up to here. If you have any questions, we can discuss. Yeah. Mm-hmm. A person obstructs others from doing charity when he discourages that person from doing charity, when he talks bad about doing charity, saying that it's useless, there is no good will come out of your doing charity. And when he encourages people not to do charity, in those ways he obstructs people from practicing charity. So he will suffer in this very life and in the future life. So like in the Suttas, we find that the external ascetics, many of them were jealous of the Buddha because the Buddha became famous. So because the Buddha and his monks were famous, they had a lot of offerings. Whereas external ascetics, they did not practice so well, they did not keep good sila, they did not meditate well, they did not have wisdom. So they had little offerings. So because of jealousy, they told lay people that the Buddha always claims that you should only do offerings, offer things only to the Buddha and his disciples. Don't offer to other ascetics. But the Buddha said he doesn't do that, because if a person does that, you obstruct others from doing charity, then you are doomed, this life and the future life. You will suffer for it. And in fact, in one of the suttas, there's a general Siha. He was a follower of the Nigantas, or the Jains. And after he came to see the Buddha and talk to the Buddha, he converted and became a follower of the Buddha. Then the Buddha told him that he should still do charity towards these Nigantas. So he was very happy that the Buddha said that, because he said that he heard the opposite, that the Buddha said that people should only do offerings, make offerings to the Buddha and his disciples. So
what happened is that say somebody, they like to do dana, they are very compassionate about doing dana. But then they themselves are having financial problems. They are every day worried about their business, and sometimes their cash flow is stuck or what, and then they just like how to say, without calculating, they just give, and at the end they are headache, and they are not happy. So what happens if let's say you advise them that they should use wisdom, and then until they are better off, then they think back more, or what?
If a person does charity, the Buddha says that that dana or that charity that we do should not harm ourselves and should not harm others. So you can advise that person this Dhamma teaching of the Buddha, but you cannot tell that person not to give. Some people they are generous to the extent that they overdo it. But actually it is good for them. It's just that they have to suffer a bit. But it's good for them, because they will the reward that will come to them it will be a lot. For example, the Buddha talked about one sutta because somebody asked the Buddha, if a person, say for example, does business, and then he expects to get, for example, like 1,000, just example, $1,000 a month. There are various types of people. One type of person, when he does business, he expects to get $1,000 a month. He may fail miserably. He may not make any profit at all. Even his capital also he might lose. In other words, he does not make even $1. Or he makes a very small profit, $50 a month instead of the 1,000 he expected. And then on the other hand, there's another person, he expects to make 1,000 a month. He might make less than that, but say not too far away, like 800 ringgit a month, okay, or 500 ringgit a month. That's the second one. The third one, he expects to make $1,000 a month, and he gets $1,000 a month, okay. And then the fourth one, although he expects 1,000, he makes much more than that, he might get 5,000 or 10,000 instead of 1,000 a month, So this man wants the Buddha to explain why. The Buddha said, it might be that this person wanted to offer something to a virtuous monk, a virtuous ascetic. And the first type is he says he wants to offer something. Maybe he asks the monk, what do you need? And the monk says he needs certain medicine or certain something. And after saying that he wants to get something for that monk, that ascetic, he does not give anything. Such a person, because he promised to give and he does not give anything, then in the future, when he expects to make money, he fails miserably, does not get at all. That is the result of making a promise and not fulfilling it. The second one is the person who promised to give a certain amount, say, of offerings, and then he gives less than what he promised. So the result is when he does business, he also gets less. Third one is he says he will give a certain amount and he gives exactly that amount. So he gets exactly what he expects to get. The fourth one, he says he wants to give something that he gives much more. So he gets much more. So in this case, when you talk about this person, his financial situation is not too good, and he gives more than what he should give. So next time, when karma comes back to him, maybe in the future rebirth or maybe even in this life later on, he will get more than what he expects.
So then what happens is that say someone advises him and say, look into your condition, you have to use your wisdom even if you give right. Because if not, at the end of the day, you keep going around and want to borrow money.
Sometimes when we give advice also, we have to be very careful. We can give in such a way, but not obstruct him from giving. And not discourage him from giving also. Because if you obstruct him from giving or you discourage him from giving, you are creating bad karma. So what you can do is teach him the Dhamma. Tell him that the Buddha says, when we do charity, it should not be to the extent when the giver suffers or he makes somebody else suffer. Because there are many instances in the Vinaya books. Our Vinaya books are like lawyers' law cases, lawyers' court cases. Because there have been so many cases of monks breaking the discipline, so many different types of cases. It's all come out into the Vinaya books. So, for example, a person, a monk, in the Vinaya books, he saw some executioner going to execute somebody using the long sword. He's going to chop off his head. So, one monk, maybe he saw somewhere else, one executioner, he chopped somebody's head, but the head it was not a complete chop. So this fellow chopped his head and his head was hanging there. So he got to chop second time or third time before the head goes off. So this busybody thought he wanted to be more compassionate. He told the executioner, you execute him one blow only, one blow, chop off his head. So this executioner chopped off the man's head with one blow. So when this was reported to the Buddha said, he's parajika. He's a party to the killing. He's a party to the killing. He asked the executioner to execute him with one blow. So you see, so we have to be very careful, So in this case, you want to help that person, to tell him, don't go beyond your means, but if you word it in such a way, then you are discouraging him from doing dana, you are creating bad karma.